Hi, I'm Melissa Chandler, and welcome to After the Unthinkable, a podcast where I share what it's like to survive the things you think you can't survive and how to move forward one step at a time. Today's episode is part of my Fight for Change series, and I want to talk about something that has caused my family an enormous amount of confusion and pain that I don't think anyone outside our situation would ever really understand, and it's the silence. Here is something I have learned about navigating the justice system as a family member of a violent crime victim. There is an unspoken assumption that you already know how it works. Nobody really sits you down and explains the process. Nobody walks you through what to expect. They tell you, like, in generalizations, it typically goes like this, but nothing really specific, and not like, okay, what do we do with this? Also, nobody tells you what your rights are, what you're allowed to do, what you're allowed to say. There is just a quiet expectation that somehow you already understand a system that most people never have any reason to understand until the worst day of their life thrusts them into it. So for us, for my family, we didn't know how it worked. I mean, how could we? And nobody's prepared for this. And yet we were left to figure it out on our own, terrified of doing something wrong, terrified of making a mistake that could affect everything. So one of the hardest parts for us has been around what we are and are not allowed to say. Early on, in the very beginning, we were told not to talk publicly about the case at all. So we didn't. We stayed silent for years. And then as time went on, guidance kind of shifted. We were essentially told, well, this has gone on so long now, feel free to talk about whatever you want as long as it doesn't jeopardize the case. Well, but here's the problem. We don't really know what jeopardizes the case. What is safe to say? What crosses a line? I mean, no one has given us clear guidance at all. So we have stayed silent out of fear. And for years, we put our own healing on the back burner because honestly, we were terrified that speaking, grieving out loud, telling our story might somehow ruin the chance at justice, or what they're calling justice, we had already waited so long for. So, I mean, I don't know if you can understand how painful that is, but it is. I mean, we were not allowed to fully grieve in public. We're not allowed to tell our story. We were not allowed to advocate for the people that we lost, all because of a vague and shifting set of instructions that no one ever fully explained. So our silence has not been a choice. It's been fear of a system we didn't understand that was making us afraid to even speak our own truth. And I want people who work in this system to understand something. When you leave families in the dark about what they can and cannot do, you are not just creating confusion. You are silencing grief. You are delaying healing. You're adding another layer of trauma on top of everything that they're already carrying. A family that is afraid to speak is a family that cannot fully process what happened. It cannot advocate for their loved ones. We cannot find community with others who understand, and we cannot begin to heal. And most of the time, this silence isn't even legally necessary. It's just the result of vague guidance, unclear communication, and an assumption that families already understand a process that they were never taught. And honestly, that has to change. So here's what needs to change today. Families of violent crime victims deserve clear, specific written guidance about what they can and cannot say publicly while a case is pending. Not vague instructions, not shifting expectations, clear boundaries explained in plain language by someone whose job it is to help them understand, and an understanding of why, what we can and cannot say, and why. There are things we can't say. Why? Families should never have to choose between protecting the case and protecting their own ability to grieve or heal or speak their truth. With clear guidance, we wouldn't have to choose at all. That clarity is not a luxury. It is a basic form of respect that every family deserves. If you are a family navigating this silence right now and you're confused and afraid to speak, I see you. You are not doing anything wrong. The system failed to give you what you needed to understand your situation. That is not your fault. And I am fighting to change it so that the next family does not have to sit in the same silence that we have for so long. So, as always, thank you so much for listening to After the Unthinkable. I will be back soon with another episode. But until then, keep going. You are stronger than you think.